Mach 3. 70,000 feet. A bomber built to outrun physics itself, and the jet sent to protect it can barely keep up. This is the story of the fastest bomber ever built, and the tragedy that ended its dream in a single, silent moment over the California desert. Imagine a bomber that could fly faster than any fighter jet in the world, so fast that missiles couldn't catch it, and so high that no defense could touch it. That was the promise of the XB-70 Valkyrie. But the world changed faster than the aircraft could adapt, and the sky it was built to conquer disappeared beneath it. The year is 1954. The Cold War is escalating. The United States Air Force needs a new weapon, a bomber that can outfly the Soviet Union's growing air defenses. Soviet radar networks are expanding. Surface-to-air missiles are improving. The old propeller bombers of World War II are already obsolete. The Air Force's answer is bold: build a bomber that flies at 3 times the speed of sound, above 70,000 feet, faster and higher than anything that could intercept it. This ambitious requirement becomes Weapon System 110, a program that will push aerospace engineering further than it has ever gone before. In 1957, North American Aviation wins the contract. Their design is unlike anything ever built, a bomber shaped more like a spacecraft than an airplane. Engineers face an impossible challenge: how do you build an airplane that can survive sustained flight at Mach 3, where the skin of the aircraft heats to over 500 degrees? The answer: stainless steel honeycomb panels brazed together with impossible precision, a manufacturing process invented specifically for this aircraft. Construction begins in Palmdale, California. Piece by piece, a machine unlike any other takes shape inside a guarded hangar. By 1964, the first prototype is complete, 189 feet long, gleaming white, with a wingspan that folds mid-flight. The Valkyrie's secret weapon isn't just speed, it's a phenomenon called compression lift, using its own shockwave to help hold itself in the air. At Mach 3, the wingtips fold downward up to 65 degrees, trapping the shockwave beneath the wing and turning raw supersonic force into extra lift. 6 General Electric J93 engines, buried in a single wide duct beneath the fuselage, generate enough combined thrust to push nearly 600,000 pounds of aircraft past Mach 3. The engines burn a special high-density jet fuel, JP6, engineered to survive the extreme heat generated by sustained supersonic flight. Inside the cockpit, 2 pilots sit in individual escape capsules, not ejection seats, but enclosed pods designed to protect them at speeds where a normal ejection would be fatal. The drooping nose, the razor-thin delta wing, the needle-like fuselage, every curve is shaped by one goal: pierce the sky at 3 times the speed of sound. September 21, 1964. Edwards Air Force Base. The first Valkyrie prototype, Aviation, prepares for its maiden flight. Test pilots Al White and Joseph Cotton climb into the cockpit. Around them, engineers hold their breath. No one has ever flown an aircraft quite like this. The 6 engines roar to life. The massive delta wing lifts off the runway, and for the first time, the Valkyrie touches the sky. That first flight reaches only subsonic speeds, but it proves the impossible shape can actually fly. Over the following months, engineers push the aircraft further. Faster. Higher. Each flight inches closer to the aircraft's true purpose. On October 14, 1965, the Valkyrie finally does what it was built to do: it crosses Mach 3, sustained, at over 70,000 feet. For over an hour, the bomber sustained speeds no aircraft of its size had ever reached. It is, for a brief moment, the fastest bomber on Earth. But even as engineers celebrate this triumph, the world outside the test range had already begun to make the Valkyrie obsolete. May 1, 1960. A U-2 spy plane is shot down deep inside Soviet territory by a surface-to-air missile. Pilot Francis Gary Powers is captured alive. The incident sends shockwaves through Washington. If missiles can reach a spy plane at 70,000 feet, what happens to a bomber flying at the same altitude? Soviet missile technology is advancing faster than anyone predicted. High-altitude speed alone is no longer a guarantee of survival. At the same time, a new strategy is emerging: the intercontinental ballistic missile. Nuclear warheads that reach their targets in minutes, with no pilot at risk at all. Why risk a billion-dollar bomber and its crew when a missile can do the job faster, cheaper, and without ever entering enemy airspace? In 1961, before the Valkyrie has even flown, Defense Secretary Robert McNamara cancels its production as a bomber. Only 2 prototypes will ever be built. It's a devastating blow. A machine built to be the ultimate bomber will now serve a smaller purpose as a research aircraft for high-speed flight. Still, NASA and the Air Force see value in the aircraft. Its data on sustained Mach 3 flight will help shape the future of supersonic transport and space exploration. A second prototype, Aviation, joins the test program in 1965, slightly modified, slightly heavier, and destined to fly further into the aircraft's true potential. Throughout 1965 and early 1966, both Valkyries fly dozens of test missions, gathering data no aircraft had ever collected at these speeds and altitudes. But the very thing that made the Valkyrie extraordinary, its speed, created a new and unexpected danger for the aircraft meant to fly beside it. June 8, 1966. General Electric requests a publicity photograph, several aircraft powered by GE engines, flying together in tight formation. The formation includes the XB-70 Valkyrie, an F for Phantom, a Tu-38 Talon, an F-5, and an F-10 for Starfighter, all flying dangerously close together for the camera. At the controls of the F-10 is NASA test pilot Joe Walker, a veteran of the X-15 rocket plane, one of the most experienced pilots in America. As the formation holds position for the cameras, the F-10 drifts too close to the Valkyrie's massive right wingtip. An invisible vortex spinning off the Valkyrie's massive wing catches the smaller jet, flipping it violently upward and rolling it directly into the bomber's twin tail fins. The collision tears both aircraft apart. The F-10 explodes almost instantly. The Valkyrie, gravely wounded, begins a slow, uncontrollable spin toward the desert floor. Pilot Al White ejects in his escape capsule and survives, though severely injured. Co-pilot Carl Cross, unable to eject in time, goes down with the aircraft. Joe Walker is killed instantly. The wreckage of AV-2 comes down in the desert near Barstow, California, the second prototype, and one of only 2 ever built, destroyed in an instant. The loss stuns the aerospace community. In one photograph shoot gone wrong, half the entire Valkyrie fleet is gone, along with 2 of its pilots. Only AV-1 remains. It continues flying test missions for 3 more years, but the program's momentum, and much of its funding, has already faded. On February 4, 1969, the last Valkyrie makes its final flight, from Edwards Air Force Base to the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. It touches down for the last time, its engines fall silent, and the only Mach 3 bomber ever built becomes a museum piece. The Valkyrie never dropped a single bomb in anger. It never entered a war. And yet, its legacy reaches far beyond the battlefield it was built for. Its compression lift design proved that an aircraft could ride its own shockwave, a principle that would influence supersonic aircraft design for decades. Its stainless steel honeycomb construction pushed material science forward, informing later high-speed aircraft that had to survive extreme aerodynamic heating. Its flight data helped shape America's understanding of sonic booms, high-altitude aerodynamics, and sustained supersonic cruise, knowledge later applied to spacecraft and high-speed research programs. More than anything, the Valkyrie represents a turning point, the moment the age of the manned high-altitude bomber gave way to the age of the missile. Today, only one Valkyrie remains on Earth, a silent white giant, standing as a monument to a future that never quite arrived. Was the XB-70 Valkyrie a failure? By its original mission, yes, it never became the bomber the Air Force imagined in 1954. But as an engineering achievement, it was a triumph, proof that human ingenuity could build a machine to fly at 3 times the speed of sound, sustained, for over an hour at a time. 6 decades later, no bomber has ever matched its speed. The Valkyrie remains, and likely will always remain, the fastest bomber ever built. 2 prototypes. 1 tragic accident. 3 years of extraordinary flight. The XB-70 Valkyrie story is short, but its shadow over aerospace history is enormous. It was built to outrun the world. In the end, the world simply changed direction, and left the fastest bomber ever made with nowhere left to fly. This has been the story of the XB-70 Valkyrie, the bomber so fast, it outran its own fighter Escorts, and outran its